Heath is going to start us off from Columbus, Ohio this hour. Hey, Heath, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure, man. What's up?
So I'm calling today to ask for your guidance on my in-law and my parents-in-law and kind of the relationship we have now. So about 5 years ago, my mother-in-law inherited, an unknown amount of money. I'm guessing it's probably a couple $100,000. And my father-in-law invested that with eyes wide open in the oil market, took a bunch of stuff out on margin. And this weird thing happened a couple months ago where the stock market tanked. So they pretty much lost everything. Again, I'm unclear exactly what they had and what they lost, but they now tell us things like, we can't afford to pay for cable. We can't afford to pay for gasoline in our car to come visit you. And they value a lot on the phrase, we're retired. They're in their late 60s, 65, 67, and basically refusing to go back to work. They had minimal savings, and my wife and I are just really struggling with how do we handle this as their children. We want to support them, but we've got 3 small kids. We just bought a house, and we're really unclear on what we should be doing as their children to guide them during this time.
Heath, I like you.
I like you too.
Well, I appreciate that. I like you.
Now that we've got that settled.
Man, here's the thing. He's not taking an emotional approach, and I have to approach a victim approach, but it's somebody who I can tell cares and loves for his in-laws and hurts for them at the same time. He lives in a reality that he's got a wife and 3 kids, and they're working together to raise a house, and that's a tough situation.
Other than the passive-aggressive grenades, have they actually asked directly for money?
They have, yeah. There was one occasion right after everything hit with the COVID and the stock market crash for their property taxes, which were past due, so they needed money for that. And so I quickly started looking up how to handle these types of questions, and of course I found you, so I'm really grateful. I YouTubed everything that you had about in-laws and not saving for retirement. And so I tried walking through him and, getting him to acknowledge that, hey, my wife and I might have to go back to work. And that just went right over his head. He was just, well, hey, either you have the money or you don't. So I didn't give it to him, and I did have the money. And that's kind of really where, again, the struggle for me and my wife is that, I make a good living. We've been blessed to, my side of the family, they've been very generous with.
So what is your household what is your household income?
About 170.
Okay, so you are killing it, and they're probably somewhat aware of that. You understand that when he made that statement, that was a statement that says, "I am entitled to your stuff."
Yeah, I don't like that statement at all.
And that seems to be the underlying attitude.
You either got the money or you don't.
But I think that's that's where my wife and our fear is that, hey, they're just going to throw their hands up and whatever happens, rely on the fact that, hey, my son-in-law and his wife who stays at home with their kids, at worst comes to worst, they'll just provide for us. And I got a list of priorities, and my father-in-law is not, the highest of those priorities.
I'm telling you, I like this guy, Dave. I like this guy. You can make fun of me.
Okay.
I like this guy.
So, I think there's 2 or 3 levels of help that you can look at. Obviously, one, you don't want to put them on the dole where you support them the rest of your life and they don't address the situation. That's an unacceptable process. Making sure they have food, yeah, that's fine. Making sure they have shelter, that's fine. But I'm probably going to, if they come at you again for money, I'm probably going to have some real calm, in person if possible, discussions with the 2 of them. This sounds something like this. We love you, and we are not going to support you. Ongoing. You will always have food, but you're able-bodied, and you need to get on a written game plan. And if before I give you money again, I'm going to do a full audit of your financial situation. I'm going to know where every dollar is, and I'm going to know what your income is, and we're going to do a budget together, and you're going to be on a budget that I approve, or I'm not giving you any money. And if you don't want to do that, I completely understand. But those are my terms.
And I'm gonna recommend that your wife be there with you in that conversation.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And so that they don't come back later. And I'll give you, let me tell you what I think will happen based on this comment that he made earlier. I think you're going to get the exact same reaction, and they're just going to blow you off. In which case, they are saying, I don't need your help. And so you don't have to give them help.
Or my pride cost more than my desire to not be hungry.
Yeah. And I'm entitled to your money, and I'm going to be a butt.
Part of it. He's embarrassed as to what happened.
Yeah, we ought to be. That was a really dumb play.
He views going back to work as, a failure on his part.
It is.
It is.
That's exactly what it is. And the quicker a grown-up can recognize, hey, I screwed up, and now I've got to go make it right.
Yeah.
And
being a grown-up.
Not being entitled to my son-in-law's, and taking money out of my kids, out of my grandkids' future.
Let me just tell you, it wasn't the stock market that got him, okay? The stock market didn't get him. He was playing oil. He was playing commodities market. This is the most volatile market. You have a better chance of hitting the roulette wheel in Vegas than you do doing what he was doing. That's what he was doing. And so, what happened was oil got him because oil went to a negative. Not the stock market. The oil market did. The commodities market did. When we had tankers sitting offshore full of oil, they wouldn't even offload them because the oil was worth negative amounts per barrel for a few weeks there because no one was driving and all the supply dried up, all the use dried up, the demand for gasoline dried up, and he set himself up by playing an ultra high risk play, whether he realized it or not, and he went to Vegas and blew his wife's inheritance. That's what he did.
He realized that we talked to him about it and what a mistake was. I put him in touch with my financial planner, and
they all told him not to do it.
He refused to listen to anybody.
Yeah.
And
so when you do all of that, every one of those things now limits your
ability to help him.
You can't help him. You can't, because now if you give him money, you're just participating in his fantasy land. You're participating in his delusions. Your financing is crazy. Now, if you want to buy him some food and send him a bag of groceries or two over there, I'm fine with that. But these people need an overhaul of their behaviors. I don't think they're going to let you give them that. If they do, I will be stone cold shocked.